Hey everyone, this is Lulu La Reina, your Mexican Barbie, and here we're at with Drinking at Mo's.
This is Drinkin at Mo's, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
You know, I've always said here at Drinkinatmos, just because it says drinking at Mo's does not mean it has to be alcoholic. So I'm happy to say Drinking at Mo's is sponsored by Prince Nana Coffee, the, the exact same guy you see every week on Dynamite, on Collision. Yes, he has his own coffee, and it's freaking delicious. They don't even roast those beans until you've placed your order. And you might be telling me, hey, Big Mo, I'm more of a tea guy. They got you covered there too. Use the referral link in the description of this video. And let's get you dancing like Prince Nana with Prince Nana Coffee. All right, everybody, welcome drinking at Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff if you will. If you enjoy the show, which I hope you do if you're here watching it anyways, don't forget about the audio platforms too. Today, I'm excited to have with me great talent, the Mexican Barbie, Lulu La Reina. How you doing?
Great, I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. Lots of great stuff with the show and outside, obviously, son being wow, words are hard. Happy, healthy, almost 4 month old. I I was actually at the now I guess infamous AEW Dynamite taping where that Adam Copeland John Moxley street fight happened where the nail board and getting.
Oh, I did see that.
I was third row right by the entrance for that. Like it
Oh Lord,
practically happened right in front of me.
that was nasty.
Oh, if you thought it was nasty watching it on TV, imagine being there
Oh no,
as
I
close
probably
as
would
I
have
was.
fainted. Probably. That was
I mean, watching as much deathmatch wrestling as I have, I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff, and usually with that, it's like, you see it either get scooted out of the way or they might get suplexed onto it, but they hit the wood part and not the nail part. No, that definitely went in there.
oh yeah. I seen that and I was mm-mm.
Yeah,
I will
not
say I
one of
will
those.
not do that, guys.
No,
No.
oh God, no,
I'm
no,
saying it now. No.
no. I do not blame you one bit. I mean, funny enough, that isn't the first uh somewhat infamous spot that I've seen from uh Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose. I was actually at the I think it was a Monday Night Raw where he destroyed Jericho's light up jacket. He had the jacket with the sleeves with all the lights on it, and he tore it up. I was
Oh,
there for that one.
oh, so you're there for the good crazy ones.
I've been there for some crazy moments.
Oh, but at least
So
your money's worth. You get your money's worth for
I
sure.
do get my money's worth. But the first thing I like to ask everybody when they first come on the show,
Mhm.
what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to make the leap into the business?
Oh, this is what I tell everyone. It gets very interesting because I was not a fan of wrestling when I joined wrestling. So,
I've actually heard that come up not so well. Actually, heck, it has come up on the show before, but I have been hearing it happen more often. They either come into it late or they, something happens, they get introduced, and then hey, here they are.
Yeah, for me, it was just I mean, I watched it when I was a little kid with my male cousins. You know, they would watch it, and I would just be there watching it. But I wasn't paying attention, I will say,
Mm,
not interested. That was when I was a child, kiddo. And then as I got an adult, I wasn't interested. The only thing that I did watch was Total Divas. And that's what it
mm,
kind of went for me to go for wrestling. And
mm,
that's why I'm a big Bella Twin fans, even though a lot of
mm.
people do not like the Bella Twins. But without them, I probably wouldn't be here. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of them. And what made me get that push to join a wrestling school, it was my dad, um, being the only daughter. Um, in a Mexican household, my dad was very strict. I didn't do any sports, so wrestling is my first sport. And with that, I guess I wanted to show him how tough of a chick I was, or I am. Um, and that's how I got into it. It was more like to just prove my dad, you know, like saying like you're wrong, I'm right.
Mm,
Um, Unfortunately, a month after I joined, my dad passed away from COVID.
mm,
And he didn't get to see anything, knowing anything, because I was gonna surprise him. So, um, yeah, he didn't know nothing about my crazy adventure with wrestling. And yeah, now here I am.
that- you know, I when it came to stuff with the Navy for me, I kind of had a similar attitude with proving people wrong because I mean, growing up, I've made it no secret. Growing up wasn't really an easy time for me, not necessarily with my own family, but outside of it. I was definitely the bullied kid growing up. And when I would tell people that I was getting into the Navy, I was excited. I'm doing this. This is, yeah, I'm nervous, but man, I got this.
Yeah.
I had people laughing at me. So, like, literally every time I something got tough, I'd just be like, I'm going to prove them wrong.
Mm.
I'm going to, this is for them. I'm going to prove
Yeah.
them wrong. And much like with and my condolences on the loss of your father, but you know that motivation of yeah, he might not have been all for it, but you're wanting to prove that how tough you are, that you can get in there and you can do something that maybe he didn't picture you doing, but hey, you're in there, you're using that, and
Mm.
that is awesome. I love it when you know it would have been, I'm sure, even better if he were to have been able to see you in there. But hey, you know, for I mean, I know I've considered myself more of maybe not organized religion, but very spiritual.
Mhm.
Watching down, best seat in the house, and
Oh,
as they all say.
I do tell people I do sense like my dad around, especially before I go like, have my match. I definitely like feel him
Mm,
right there. And um the thing with that too, it was that, I later on as I also did therapy, I've done therapy. I ended up finding out that it wasn't so much that I wanted him to know how tough I was. It was more that I wanted him to be proud of me. I think my
I
dad knew how tough I was, I mean, he raised me, he
I've
knew for sure. I'm a tough cookie, but I
Yeah.
think I because I never heard those words from him, like, "Hey, I'm proud of you."
Mm.
I guess that's what I wanted from him, but it took me a while to realize that. At first, when I joined, I thought it was like, "Hey, I want him to know I'm this tough, independent woman," you know? But it was more the words that I just wanted him to at least say, like, "Hey, I'm proud
Mm.
of you," because I really didn't do much before wrestling. Um, you know, I didn't do any sports. Wrestling was
Yeah.
my first sport, so it wasn't much that he could have at least said
Yeah.
if he was proud of me. Or, like I said, he was a very tough, you know, dad. So I think it was hard for him to even tell me, like, "Hey, I'm proud of you." Maybe like he just couldn't be vulnerable to say that. I don't,
Mm.
like it's just because
Y-
with my
No.
cousins, he was able to say that. It was just more with me, but now
Yeah.
hearing it from so many people, like, "Hey, I'm proud of you," it's kind of like him telling me. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird,
No.
but
Yeah. I can see that.
yeah.
You sense him there when you're getting ready for your matches, and then hearing that, it's almost like that little way of him saying it through
Other
them.
people. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It feels weird when I say it, but when close people of mine tell me I'm proud of you, it hits. I don't know. It hits very differently, you know.
yeah,
So that's how I got into wrestling, and
that
now wrestling is my life now. So.
that's awesome. That is awesome. I love hearing about that. And you know, I've also made it no secret. My wife and I, before our son was born, it was actually back in 22. We were pregnant with twin girls, and I mean they're the reason I have this tattoo on my forearm here. Their
Oh.
their names, the date they were born, and this is actually a hand and a footprint of each of theirs. They were that small. They
Mhm.
weren't due until November, but they decided to show up in late July, and they only made it little over a week. And much like you sense it with your father, I can
Mhm.
even sense them in different ways, especially with, our son now. And
Yeah.
like, there's just those little instances where I always think back to this one in particular. There would, there's those, everybody has those songs that remind them of somebody.
Mhm.
There's a couple that, like, there was one that I'll admit I didn't know all the words to it, but I would sing it, the words I did know, to them in the hospital. I can't hear that song anymore without getting choked up. But there was one that would get played on the radio by one of my favorite country singers, and I was going to visit. We have, me being a veteran, my daughters were actually being able to be interned at the National Cemetery near me.
Oh.
And they I was there visiting them one time, and I kid you not, as soon as I turned on my car to go leave,
Yeah.
that song was on the radio. And I was
Mm.
just like, I couldn't put it in drive for like at least a minute or two after that song was over, because I was like, oh damn it.
Yep.
So yeah, nope, I can totally sense that there. And another thing that I have wanted to ask ever since we scheduled coming on, the Mexican Barbie. How, like, everybody has their own way that they came into their moniker.
Mhm.
How did you come into yours? Because I know through, I'm damn near 350 episodes in now. I've heard it a lot that that first little bit can be a bit of a feeling out process. What's going to stick? What isn't?
Mhm.
What are, and it all comes down to a lot of the time, what are you feeling like when you're out there? What are you feeling is like that extension of yourself?
Like what I'm feeling when I'm like coming out, like my
How
entrance,
did you, yeah, how did you come up with, the
the
Mexican
Mexican Barbie.
Barbie? Like, how did that come about? And yeah, how
Like
describe the Mexican Barbie for those that might not be in your area, that might not have seen you in action yet.
okay, well, the Mexican Barbie started. Well, first, I'm Mexican.
Right.
So that's the first. But with the whole Barbie, is just like you can do anything you put your mind into. That's what mostly it's about. I feel that a lot of people think, oh, Barbie is just like
Mm.
this cute, like, that, yeah, you take care of yourself physically. But I feel
There
like
can be a negative connotation to
they
it.
take it in a negative, yeah. But me with saying the Mexican Barbie, it's still Barbie. I'm not
Yeah.
taking anything away from what Barbie is, but it's more showing like, hey, like especially like with, the Latinos, like, hey, we can still do it. We can do it too. Um, and when I say like you can do whatever you put your mind to, it's like I never thought I was gonna do any sports, at all. Like I said, wrestling my first sport. And it's scary because I am in my 30s and it's a new thing. Like I said, it's a new thing. Never watched wrestling like that until I joined. And I keep fighting for it. Like it's something I really want. I keep fighting for it, and that's where I want people to see like, hey, the Mexican Barbie can do it, so can I. You know,
Mm.
it's like it doesn't even have to be about wrestling. It could be baking, it can be running, it could be anything. You want to be a doctor, go for it as long as you work for it too. Like keep working for it, keep like taking care of yourself as well. That's where
Mm.
the Mexican Barbie goes. Like mentally, take care of yourself. Physically, take care of yourself. And meaning like you're important. And that's when I come out in the entrance. Like my entrance is also like in the beginning of my wrestling career, I was very shy, very timid. I was a whole different,
Mm.
person than I am now. But I worked into my confidence. And I feel like I've been through a lot in my life, throughout my life, where I made a whole switch. So it's like when I come out with that power, it's just like for people to see, like, hey, you can do it too.
Mm.
You can do it too.
Oh yeah.
So that's where the whole Mexican Barbie came out. It's like I always tell people I'm a Mexican, not a Mexicant.
I
So
I like it. I like it.
so a lot of people also see, oh, I'm tiny, you know, but that don't mean anything. I can still fight. I can still like don't underestimate my size.
Mm.
You get me?
Oh yeah.
Because what it matters is what you know here.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people think, oh, because you're all muscle, you can probably do so much damage. Like, not really. People in MMA, I mean, or other sports, I mean, they're
Oh
slim.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's
You get
definitely been examples in that world of, you know, might seem somewhat of a mismatch in, in size, like at least muscle or whatever. And you might think, oh, one person, it's going to be an easy one for them. But then that other person that, you might, at least for you, consider to be the underdog,
me.
they come out and surprise you.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like I used to get bullied too, when I was in high school because of my size, and I never backed down. I never did. I always said, win or lose, the respect is more important to me than anything, and I will always stand up for myself. And that's another thing where I want people to know, like standing up for yourself is okay. Like now, I mean, it's kind of like it's a little different from back then. Like a lot of people now have weapons, and that's where it's like, woof, woof,
Yeah.
you know. But I always just want people to believe in themselves and whatever they love to do, to stand up for that. You know, you love drawing, keep doing that. Like it's just believing in them, and I believe in everyone. Like whatever you want
Oh,
to do, as long as it's positive, I'm rooting for
oh
you.
yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
rooting for you. But, like I said, I've been through a lot. And that's, like I said, the Mexican Barbie is you can throw me rocks, you can throw me punches, but as long as, you don't kill me, I'm going to be getting up every time. And trust me, I'm going to be getting up every time.
Oh yeah. Nope. I've definitely had.
I'm definitely a
Well,
fighter.
oh, yeah, I like that because I know I've had similar in a way instances where you're going through times and you just feel like you know people just keep on knocking you down or whatever it might be. And I forget where I first heard it. I might have actually heard it on a pro wrestling promo, but I remember telling somebody, you try to knock me down, you might as well, if you want to take that shot, you might want to make sure you're a good one, because if you don't kill me, I'm getting back up and I'm coming at you.
Yeah. It's just life. You just got to keep fighting, fighting, and whatever we want to, like
Oh
me,
yeah.
it's just like I don't know where wrestling's gonna take me to, but
Hmm.
all I know, it's as long as I keep like working
For
for it,
sure.
fighting for it, God is
Oh
gonna
yeah.
put me somewhere, where He feels that it's the best
Oh yeah.
place for me, and all I have is faith. You get me?
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, so it's just that, like the Mexican Barbie is just, she could do anything she
Oh
puts
yeah.
her mind to.
Oh yeah.
So that's how the Mexican Barbie started.
That that
And
is awesome.
people have been loving it too.
Oh
Um, so for now we're keeping it. Maybe there might be changes later on. Who knows? But
yeah.
yeah.
No, I can understand that. Everybody. I mean, there's been a few uh, personalities in wrestling that are like, I think, are perfect examples of you know they can see when certain things might need to change, but at the core, basically the same person. Much like Chris Jericho is a perfect example. All the monikers he's gone through, and there might be some little changes here and there, but then at the core, he's always that same Jericho. The Undertaker, all the little subtle changes he's gone through, and some not so subtle with, the American Badass and all of that. You know, knowing when certain things need to change, but always having that core the same. I get it. I get it. And it
Mm-hmm.
leads to a little bit of a more of a career longevity.
Mm-hmm.
When certain things might need to change, but then that you don't want to go overboard with it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of went a little overboard with like shopping with Barbie stuff, but I think it also, the thing is with my character, I also take it like more like in my life outside wrestling. It's kind of like bringing the childhood, like that inner childhood. I
yeah.
never really played with Barbies, or I wasn't a girly girl like that. Like I didn't want to be a girly girl. So now it's like wrestling has also made me find myself like also feeling beautiful, like being in therapy. I've worked on, like my self-care, my self-love, like
Yeah.
all that is very important. And I guess like I ended up finding out I like pink.
Hey,
So
hey,
it's just
no,
like, and I don't know, it's just been something very beautiful where I've been loving it too. So
hey, awesome. I know. Oh God. very, very empowering, I guess, for everybody, that, they might have those struggles, but, when you find out, what gives you that little push, I guess.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about, not knowing like everywhere that wrestling's gonna take you, but it has taken you to at least two somewhat different parts of the wrestling world. Down in Texas, I see a
Mhm.
lot going down there. I see, there was a event flyer for, coincidentally, a show that I saw. Evil Uno was on the poster, or at least on the post about it. But then there was well, Phoenix Lucha Libre Battle Houston was coming up.
Yes, in May 3rd.
Okay, and that, and Texas has a bit of a storied wrestling history. You know,
Yes.
oh yeah, going all the way back to even before I was born. And I mean, I feel, yeah, I'm gonna date myself, but yeah, I'm about to turn 40, 42. Yeah, 42. Wow, I'm getting so old. I'm forgetting my own age. But you know, then now what I'm liking with the podcast is, even with the amount of episodes that I've done so far, I'm
Mhm.
even still getting introduced to a lot of new personalities, new places, and even now some are still popping up that I might not have heard so much about, with Phoenix Lucha Libre, or I am trying to remember the show in June that you're going to be in Amarillo.
Yes, that's the Route 66, which that one, honestly, I was very shocked to find out I'm going against my world and Misty Marks. Um,
Former guest of the show, Maya World.
oh really? Oh my gosh. Yeah, she actually, it's crazy. And manifesting it last year, I literally said how I wanted to wrestle her. And in June it's gonna happen. And I literally found out when the flyer came out that that's my opponent. So I
Okay.
was really happy. And yeah, I love her. I love her work. She's amazing.
Oh
Misty is
yeah.
also amazing. And it's, yeah, I mean, this year is my second year in wrestling. Um,
Um,
so I feel very blessed for sure.
that is awesome. And yeah, no, I nothing but love for her. I know it was, trying to remember, for MPX Wrestling down in Texas. Matthew Palmer helped put that together, because he, does a lot of stuff with them down there. Him and his partner, uh, Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena,
Mhm.
which I've gotten to meet her one time, and that was interesting, because she was in a feud with this guy that goes by Frank the Clown, and all of a sudden, I don't know if which one of them I saw first, but even in the fan fest, they were keeping the story going, and all of a sudden,
Um,
I just hear him shriek like, and then he just ran off. I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
yeah. Oh,
And speaking of, that was for a promotion, Warrior Wrestling, which, that, nothing but left for those guys. Those guys now going by, I believe, Pro Wrestling Ventures out of Illinois. That being another place, throughout the Midwest, but have done stuff, I believe, there too. And, still the Texas scene and the Illinois and, even the Midwest in general,
Mm.
two very different styles, really, in wrestling, because I've seen, at least through my experience with the show, and I mean, don't quote me on it, because Lord knows that even I get stuff wrong sometimes, but I've seen a lot more of the lucha libre uh, influence down in Texas
Mm-hmm.
versus out in Illinois and even in the Midwest. But what has it been like? That's two, like, that's a lot of traveling in between the two of those.
Yeah, so it's been pretty insane. I also go to Dallas, Houston, now Amarillo. Um, and yeah, like the Texas scene is pretty, I'm gonna say intense because it's different from here in Chicago in the Midwest, you know? It's very different. And I don't want to say like in Texas they take it more seriously. I don't want to say it like that, but it's a little bit more like they don't joke around with it. You
Oh,
get me? It's
they
like,
it's often been said about in Texas, when it comes to sports, there's almost like two different religions: football, pro wrestling.
yes. It's like even their training. Um I trained a couple times at Row, Reality of
Mm,
Wrestling. A few of I have a bunch of friends there, so some of them like they will take their time to train me. Especially like I said, I'm new. They want to help
yeah.
out. Um, and I'll be training there for like 4 hours. Anytime I'm training in Texas, it's like 4 hours. I take advantage of that.
No, yeah.
My trainer here, Vic Capri in Chicago, is
Mm,
amazing. I
oh,
love
yeah.
him. But like you said, in Texas, it's also like the lucha style. And so it's different from, well, my trainer does not, he even told me, lucha, I don't know nothing about. Like
Yeah.
he does not, nope. Let's say he doesn't mess with it. So when I go to Texas, that's where my
Yeah.
trainer, Diego de la Cruz, amazing also, um, he'll be training me 4 hours, right? Like every time, when I'm there 4 hours. And yeah, it's it's intense. Best believe I don't get any breaks.
Mhm. I would like, and you brought up Vic. I actually saw one of his matches for Warrior Wrestling. I was looking up,
Mm,
and they that promotion will always hold a special place to me, because when I was first getting started with this podcast, they were one of the first out of state, pretty big promotions that actually gave me a shot.
oh.
And so, nothing but love for those guys. I actually had to make sure I still have the promoter's phone number. So when my son was born, I had to be like, hey, I know I've told you about this, but hey, he's here.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I love those guys. But, you know, I have a lot of love for the lucha style too, because me, when it comes to watching independent wrestling, I
Mhm.
got started a little later. I was actually in the Navy in San Diego, where Southern California, another spot in the country, very heavy lucha influence there. So I got very lucky that my introduction to independent wrestling had that heavy lucha influence, and definitely influenced my tastes in wrestling moving from that point. So that is that is awesome. And so the thing when it comes to wrestling, you know, being having the varying styles, is also there's so much out there. there's literally so many choices out there that it might be a little daunting to figure out how to stand out in the crowd.
Hmm.
It has that, how has that been for you? I guess would be the way I'm trying to put it, because you know, like you said, there's so much out there that to grab somebody's attention to. Excuse me, I love my Dr. Pepper, but it gives me the burps like crazy. But to grab the attention to, you know, pro wrestling can be a lot about those moments,
Yes.
grabbing somebody's attention, giving them that memory that they're gonna be like, that might be their first introduction to you, but they walk away thinking, I'm a fan of that one.
Hmm. Well, I would say very important is the entrance. That's when you connect with people right away.
Oh
I
yeah.
come out to Selena Quintanilla, Tecno Cumbia. I love Selena. She's my inspiration. And I come out with dancing. I mean, I don't know if that's what people, enjoy me just dancing a little bit of cumbia. There's times that I'll grab a fan, dance with them, and it's just I don't know. To be honest, I'm not even gonna lie. It's just being myself. Smile. You know, it's just giving my all to. A lot of people have come up to me and said, "Hey, I can see that you put a lot of like energy, work into this." A lot of people have even said my selling. They love how I,
Mm. Oh yeah.
sell. They're like, "Oh, I thought you were like hurt or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like that she killed you." But it's just that, just enjoying the moment. I don't try to make it more difficult than what it should be. You get what I'm saying? I think a lot of
Oh yeah.
people think about it way too much, and it's like, just be yourself, just enjoy it. I have always told people, like, for me, it's just very important for people to enjoy the show, enjoy my match, especially to my match. Um, and it's it's just giving it 100.
No.
And people say that it shows. So it's just that sometimes I do get nervous. Like in my Dragon Slayer debut, that was the first show for that promotion, and I
Mm.
was coming out first. So it was the first match. I was coming out first, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a lot of pressure." But I was like, you know what? I got this. I got this. They wouldn't put me in this situation if they didn't believe in me.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, came out, boom, they started cheering, and it honestly was good. Like,
That's awesome.
um, unfortunately, I didn't have any merch, but even people are going this month to see me again. So
Hey.
it's just that I just go there and just make sure I interact with the fans, and I also give out cookies.
I like it. I like it.
I give out cookies with my picture on it. I don't give it to many people. More is for the kids.
Mm.
Those are the ones that I really want them to like remember the
Oh yeah.
show. And what I tell people is, when growing up, it's a lot coming from my childhood. It's like when my parents will take me out to places like the circus or the movies, they didn't have enough to buy, popcorn for everyone, or sodas, whatever. But the thing is, like with the kids, it's like I just don't know if the parents like their financial, you know,
Yeah.
statuses. But they came here to see us, and that's why I want to make sure that they get their money's worth. you
Oh
know,
yeah.
giving the kid a cookie, one of the babies a cookie, it's like making their day if it can. There was like
Oh yeah.
in January, Misty actually ripped one of the posters of the kid and called him stupid. And he was crying. And I asked him, like, why are you crying? And he told me about it. And I'm like, give me a second, hold on. I ran to the back. I got them cookies. I'm like, here, this is for you. And I'm like, like, you're not a stupid kid. Don't believe in what she says, I'm like, you're a very smart kid. And I started just talking to him and he started relaxing a little bit. So it's just that. I just try to be kind too.
Oh yeah.
When I'm a baby, when I'm a Hugh.
Oh yeah. No,
I
you
make sure I make sure I'm a mean one. So they get their money's worth for that too.
Oh yeah. No, you
You know
definitely.
what I'm saying? It's like it's just that don't try to make it difficult. I know a lot of people may hear this and be like, "What the hell?" But it's true. I try not to make it difficult. I go there. I make sure the people get, what they want to see, a match, whatever if it is. If I took like a crazy bump or whatever, and they're like, "Holy barnacles, that was crazy,"
Yeah.
and they come up to me and they're like, "Are you okay?"
Oh
I
yeah.
know they got that. I got their attention with that.
Oh yeah. And going back to wrestling being about those moments, you're giving them something to walk away from that show always remembering, like the crazy bumps, being like, that was crazy, or the things with the little kids and giving them the cookies, and they'll be like, you might have just made their day just by that little thing, and they'll always remember, like, next time they see that you're gonna be at a show, be like, hoping to go see you again.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's just that, it's more like just, I guess, like I said, like with my life, how it's been, I always just make sure I give it my all. And not saying not everybody gives it their all, right? But it's just I make sure I do that. And I also, interact with the fans after the show. And I thank them too. Like, thank you for coming, like, thank
Oh
you
yeah.
for your support. Thank you for all the love. I think it's important for us to show also, like, the appreciation because
Yeah.
without the fans, we're nobody. Without our videographers,
Mm,
without our photographers, we're nothing. So it's just making sure we appreciate even, like you guys interviewing us, like appreciating you guys that you guys take your time to do this. And that's how we're known also around, different states because me just being like at home is not really gonna do much. Like,
yeah.
so it's appreciating everyone
Yeah.
because with them we are where we're at. Like,
Oh yeah. And when it comes to fans, there's been some people have used some negative connotations with fans. Like, I know the term mark has a bit of a negative connotation to it, but when you think about it, at least for maybe at different points, different things, everybody's had a thing that they've been a, air quotes, mark for.
mhm,
Like, me being a huge fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin that I am, like that, or like I mentioned before we recorded, growing up, it was always pro wrestling and Ninja Turtles for me
yeah,
growing up. So getting to meet the voice actor behind my one of my favorite cartoon characters,
yeah,
something like that. But then you with wrestling might not have been as into it as me for as long as I've been into it, but you've still been a fan of different people in the business, like the Bella twins
mhm,
stuff. So it's like we've all been a fan in some aspect, to where it'd be like, if you're in the business, you've been that fan at some point, or
mhm.
else what are you doing in the business? You're just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. I feel like, yeah, you're right. It's sometimes like a lot of people have told me I'm their inspiration, because of like when I talk about, my therapy, like mental
Mm,
health, and
yeah.
they tell me, hey, I started therapy because you started talking about it. And like I tell people, therapy isn't bad. You let go of a lot of things you hold in,
Oh,
and the thing is, it's I guess it's like me with Selena. A lot of people, I'm actually surprised. A lot of people are not telling me, "Oh, you're trying to be like her," and it's I'm surprised I haven't heard that. If anything, people have actually told me, "Hey, you should get a gear that looks like Selena's, like like the purple one." And I'm like, I just feel like a lot of people are gonna think I'm trying to be like her. But the thing is, it's like she has inspired me so much since I was a little girl. I love her. Um, I wish she was still making music. She was here in this world. But the thing is, with that, even with me, there was a little girl that said that she started listening to Selena because of me.
that,
So,
yeah,
it's and that's what I want to do too. Like people that don't know about Selena, like, hey, I know about Selena
hey,
because of you.
yeah,
And it's just that, like, she's my inspiration. I don't see it like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with her. It's that when I went through breakups, I would listen to her song, and that inspired me to like be like, you know what? I don't need him.
no, I get that.
I'm good alone. So, it's like that. Like there's some people that, with wrestlers, they get inspired by them somehow,
True.
and they just support, buy
Yeah,
their merch, buy their whatever it is,
yeah,
pay for a ticket to go see them. And we never know if that's what that person needs sometimes.
yeah.
You know what
Like,
I'm saying?
oh yeah, no, wrestling definitely has a different ability to, you know, I know I've had it myself with, I've been open about mental health struggles, being in therapy myself,
Mhm.
but, you know, there's just sometimes that I could be having an absolute crappy day, but then I'm either going to a wrestling show in person or watching it on TV. And then for at least that little bit of time that
Mm.
I'm there, that I'm watching, it's almost like none of that mattered for that little bit of time. And that it gives people that escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wrestling has that ability, especially in person. Like there's something special about being there in person and getting to just have that little bit of an escape.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have two categories here that I
Okay.
like to go over with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
First one's a bit of a name game where I name off some people, you give me some quick your quick thoughts on each of them. And this one I've kind of had it mixed up a little bit. There's some Texas thing in here, but each of these very powerful women in the wrestling industry, where some of these have the little Texas influence, and another is just somebody that I know I'm a fan of personally.
Okay.
First one, kind of mentioned her a little bit. Athena.
Athena. She aggressive. Like
That's a good way to
that.
put it.
She a baddie. Like for
Uh,
sure. I mean, I wouldn't mind wrestling her, but I don't know. Like, ooh,
Yep, no,
she.
she's definitely one that you would have to come prepared for. That
Yes.
for sure.
Yes. Definitely. But like I said, baddie. Respect
Definitely.
her. But like when I say aggressive, it's like she has that aggression, like
Oh,
ooh,
you
she
get that in.
powerful.
Oh yeah, you get that in her mannerisms, like from
Just
the.
looking at her, she doesn't even have to do anything. She just has to stand there and
Oh,
I'll be
oh
like,
yeah,
ooh, she's
you,
gonna
you
be tough.
just you just see her walk into the ring, and you can just tell
Yes.
intensity
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Next one, I I'll admit when I first saw uh this little bit of a change, I guess, but hey, it's working. She is part of the women's tag champs, Raquel Rodriguez.
Ooh. Raquel is another one that I would say, like, very aggressive. Love her. She's Mexican too. um, she'll be a hard one to bring down for sure because she's tall.
She's a tall one.
She's a tall one, but yeah, she's a little intimidated. Yeah, she's tall. But like I said, I'm a Mexican. I'm Mexican, and two Mexicans. Let's go.
Hey, I like it. I like it. Next one. I've been a fan of this one since the seeing her pop up in the pre Tony Khan era of Ring of Honor.
Mm.
Now doing just absolutely amazing things with NXT. Roxanne Perez.
I love her. I met her once. She's amazing. I have to say, for such a young individual, very talented, and I can just tell she's gonna, I mean, she already is on the top,
Oh
but
yeah.
I just feel like in a couple of years, she's gonna be unstoppable. She's definitely gonna be that person, like that wrestler that people will remember, like
Oh yeah.
another baddie, I would say.
Oh yeah.
And she, hopefully, one day I get to see her, talk to her, because last time it was just a picture, it was something quick.
Mm.
Um, but she, a beautiful soul when I met her. Now I don't know because obviously she turned heel, so I don't know how she is now.
Hey, you're talking about that baddie. She's got that attitude.
She
Yeah.
does. She does. So I do have to say, even though, I don't know her personally, but I'm very proud of her and she's kicking butt.
No, that she is indeed, and I say the same thing about her that I do about Billy Starks.
Mm-hmm.
Two very people young in age, not so much in the business, and
Exactly.
they're already both already accomplishing so much in the business that I can only imagine how much more they're going to accomplish when they start even just thinking about retirement.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yep.
Now, lastly, this one's just I'm just a fan of her to
Mm-hmm.
begin with, and I have my own funny story in regards to her. Timeless Tony Storm.
Ooh, Tony Storm, I love her too. She is very talented, and I feel that some people don't really, give her the credit that she deserves. Um,
I think she's
I-
starting to get it now.
yes, but I feel like even before she
Yeah.
should have gotten all that credit.
Oh, totally, totally.
I've seen a few of her matches, and it's kind of like unbelievable. Like I said, I'm new to it,
Yeah.
so I'm catching up slowly.
Yeah.
But just seeing her old matches, I'm kind of like, I don't know where people, weren't giving her her flowers.
Oh yeah,
Um,
totally.
but now, like you said, people are now acknowledging it, so good.
Yeah.
But another amazing one.
Oh yeah, totally.
Amazing.
And my little story with her, it was I got one that not my first AEW show I went to, but there was one right after I went to a collision taping right after she had made the comment earlier in the week about Mariah May slapping the tits off her opponent. And the humor she is using in her promos right now is just I don't know. I'm loving it. But I remember telling somebody, I hope that Tony Storm has a match on that collision. Just thinking, man, I want to see it because I was gonna be like 2 rows behind the announce desk.
Oh,
Oh,
snap.
please, I'm going to be close. I want to see this. And she had a match that night, and she was out there with her butler or whatever, Luther. And I have, okay, I'm one of those fans at the wrestling shows that I kind of make it my mission in a lot of the shows to make somebody crack. Whether it's just getting somebody laughing, whatever it might be, saying some off the wall, whatever the heck it might be, whatever pops into my head. Well, there was a moment in the match where Toni Storm was in the corner, and I forget what was going on, but the crowd had just calmed. There was that little pause in the noise, and I saw my opening. And I yelled out, "Slap her tits off!" And I kid you not, Luther just, and I remember going, because when I go to a wrestling show that's, televised,
Mm-hmm.
I make it a point to go watch it back to see if, like, hey, if I actually got somebody's attention, hey, can I actually see how AEW has their picture-in-picture moments? It freaking happened during one of the picture-in-picture moments where you couldn't hear it.
Oh my
And
God.
I just remember thinking, "Oh, son of a bitch!"
You
But
were like, this was my moment, and you guys ruined it.
but yeah, oh god, and I'm trying to. I remember the one of the promo that Toni Storm did during Dynamite that I was at, the one with the whole Moxley incident.
Mm-hmm.
There was a promo that she did towards Megan Bayne, and you could, when the camera pointed to Megan Bayne, since I was right there at the entrance, you could actually plainly see me standing right there.
Oh, so you get some good seats. You get some good seats.
My wife did me good for Valentine's Day.
Oh,
That
nice.
Yes, she did. I She did good. I try with the gift giving. I put thought into everything, but I'll admit there are times where some of my gifts have fallen flat.
Oh.
She has not done that. I cannot say that I can say that she has definitely not fallen flat with the gifts one time. I'm
Oh.
I'm a lucky man. All right.
Yes.
Now, I have some random questions.
Okay.
Some might be wrestling related, some might not be.
Okay.
Some nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Okay.
So, first one I like to lead off with: craziest in match moment for you.
Craziest. I will say when I got hit in the apron,
Okay, yeah,
my
that
chest, um, took me out for like a month.
I would
Craziest.
that would fit.
Yes.
I've been lucky enough to I've witnessed some crazy moments, as I've said, with the Moxley incident, or let's just say me being the fan of some of the hardcore type of wrestling that I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've witnessed some moments involving fire.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was close enough. I could actually feel it, and yeah,
Yes.
that's something. But hey, hey, wrestling is about moments. Those
Yes.
were some moments that the fire. I'm not gonna forget about it.
Yeah. Well, that's one crazy moment for me. And then the second, when I lost my women's title against a guy, that's another crazy one.
Yeah, I would that would definitely much
That
that
probably should be first.
for some reason that reminds me of, like, oh, back Oh, I think it was I forget which WrestleMania, but Santino Marella was having where somehow he uh ended up in drag going into the like some women's battle royal to be crowned Miss WrestleMania, and yeah, that was nuts. But hey, another one of those moments people seem to remember. All right.
I'll say they remember mine, but because they're
Oh
like,
yeah.
how did you lose your title to a dude? And I'm like, well, did you guys see the dude? I just don't know how the promoter thought that it should have been still allowed.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyways,
Mhm.
now we talked a little bit about wrestling in Texas and in Illinois,
Mhm.
spaced out quite a bit, which leads to some long travels, whether road trips, plane, whatever it might be. What are some of your favorite things to do to entertain yourself on those long travels?
Hmm. Um, I mean, when I fly to Texas, I sleep
Hey,
on the
can't blame you
plane.
there. Can't blame
Okay,
you there.
I sleep. I do read my Bible when I'm waiting for my flight, and then once I'm there, I sleep.
Hey, can't blame you.
And then if I'm driving somewhere, I listen to a lot of music to get me hyped, or even sometimes to get me sad. Okay, um,
Hey, yeah,
if I need to like be sad, I'll put some sad music, then some happy music, but music for
yeah,
sure. So
music.
I'll say music, sleep, and read.
Hey, got you there. Now, one thing I like hearing people's answers to this one. I've I've likened when people talk about big lottery jackpots and some of the amounts of money that come up. I like to call it fuck it money, where it's like some abnormal amount of money where you might have never thought of being able to afford this or that, but now you have that money, so fuck it.
Yeah.
What is one of the first things you'd get if you had fuck it money?
Oh my God, you're gonna think I'm like lame, but it's like going to a nice restaurant and eat good food. Like I'll spend
Hey,
like $100 or more than $100 on dinner for myself. Like that's my fucking money. You might
I
think
can't
I'm
blame.
lame. Like I just don't have anything where it's like I need it like that. Like I want it badly. I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, it's like maybe new shoes, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you something. I love food. So I'm gonna spend my fucking money on some good steak,
Oh yeah.
freaking dessert, like like that's like my thing. I'm a big foodie,
Mm.
so
Oh yeah.
that's where my money goes. To food.
Hey, I can't blame you one bit. There's this I think it's one of those Brazilian steakhouses where they like have the skewers that they'll take and they'll just my wife and I went to one here in Omaha, and yeah, let's just say the price tag on that was kind of steep. So
Yes.
if I had fuck it money, yeah, no, I might go there a few more times.
Yeah.
Oh
Either
yeah.
that or I mean I'll have like I said, there's different things, but my nephews, I have three nephews. So I always spoil them.
Oh
So taking them
those
out to the movies or
yeah.
taking them out shopping or though that and food. So my nephews
Oh,
definitely always are
oh
my
yeah.
top babies to spoil, taking them to Chuck E. Cheese, Dave and
Ah,
Buster's, all those places. If they're happy, I'm happy. And obviously we're gonna go eat food too. So
oh,
they'll eat, I eat. We're all happy. We're a
everybody's
happy
happy.
family. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, with the name of a show like I have, I have to ask.
Ooh.
I would feel weird if I didn't. Favorite drink, alcoholic or otherwise, because I often say just because it says drinking at most does not mean that it has to be alcoholic. Because I know there's plenty of people out there that, for one reason or another, just don't.
Yeah, I did drink, just socially.
Same.
I would say like right now, if they have like an espresso martini, I will get that,
Mm.
or a coconut mojito.
Ooh,
Those are
that actually sounds pretty
my,
dang good.
yeah. So those are like my two that I would just kind of, my go-to. The
Gotcha.
espresso martini, it depends where because not a lot of places make them good, but definitely when I see espresso martini, I'll be ordering it for sure. So
Better. I
yeah.
mean, man, I don't know if I've ever had the coconut mojito. I know I've had other types of mojitos, so I'm like, dang, I might need to try that one. That actually sounds pretty
Right.
dang
That
delicious.
and guava mojito. I don't
Yeah,
know. Have you tried guava?
I, I've, I've. It's been a while.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have to keep my eye out on
Yes.
those. Those actually sound pretty dang delicious. Now you've kind of hinted at some that I would consider an answer to this question, but I'll go ahead and ask it last but not least here. Best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Ooh, best advice. It's just you gotta have tough skin, man. You gotta have tough skin. You can't take everything so personal. Make sure if you are coming in, you are gonna be putting, that hardest time, like the hard work. Put that time into, um, make that time because with training, doing shows and traveling, you gotta make that time. Make sure you save money
Mm,
so you can,
yeah.
spend it here or there. Or, in the beginning, you have to kind of pay for your flights, pay for your hotel in the beginning if you want to get out there, you have to
Yeah.
be seen. And most importantly is I will say it comes out with having tough skin, but don't 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 think you can't do it.
Yeah.
Don't be too hard on yourself. Make sure you listen, make sure you are paying attention, and then slowly you will get there. It takes time. But like I've said it before, if you really want something, you gotta put that
Oh,
freaking work, put
oh
that
yeah.
work in it and you'll get there.
Oh
But
yeah.
always be safe too. And I don't want to say like trust no one, but
Eh,
mostly keep your circle small.
No, I can
Keep
understand that, and you know, going along the lines of things take time. I've said, and I know I've heard it through other people. Not everybody's gonna make the main event of WrestleMania right away.
Mhm.
Takes time. All right. Well, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on the Mexican Barbie, they can go ahead and get them there.
Ooh, well, on Instagram is Lulu_La Reina_. Facebook is Lulu La Reina. And then TikTok is also Lulu La Reina.
All right.
I have those three.
We will get
Platforms.
all of that in the description. Well, that
Yeah.
is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight.
Thank
Best
you
of
for
luck out
having me. I
there.
appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. You're very welcome. It was a pleasure having you. Best of luck out there with, Battle Houston, the show in Amarillo, and everywhere in between.
Thank you so much.
Now, my issue with this damn button. Fucking hell.